Alright guys, we are back into the next game and we have the Jolly Judas playing against Gucci. Again with me today is going to be Niz. You here with us, buddy?
I am, and I unmuted my mic, so you can hear me this time.
Whew, we are professional all of a sudden. Like,
Yeah.
what is this?
We got everything under control. We're ready for a good game. This should be a good game too. There's two really good teams. A lot of skill in this game.
Yep. No, I'm really excited for this game, and I was talking to you about this, Niz, just as an update to all the viewers. First of all, I'm sorry that we're dropping frames again. This hasn't happened for like the last hour, and we're finally dropping frames again. No clue what's going on. I apologize. That being said, the winner of this game will play against losers. The winner of that will be playing Jaja in the finals. So we will be following those three games. We'll have them all coming back to back to you guys. So hopefully there will be no interruptions, and we're just going to power through the last three games for you guys, and it's going to be awesome. So without further ado, we'll actually get into this game. Lycan and Razor getting banned out by the Radiant. We see Brewmaster and Void by the Dire, and a Viper pick up by Impulse for the very first pick. Interesting decision there. Interesting decision. We did see that earlier today again. I can't remember exactly which game. My brain is betraying me at the moment, but Death Prophet. Again, Goofy.
We still went with Death Prophet. Interesting.
Well, I mean, again, I really like the idea of sticking with what works for you, and there we go, Death Prophet, Tidehunter. Most likely we'll see something like a Sand King and a Rasta follow up with this, but Doom is the response from Impulse, and Doom was not banned out, and the important thing to note, he does get through, does get picked up in the second phase, and that's going to give Impulse, the Gucci team a lot of ways to deal with the team fight coming out of Jolly Judas, but then again, if Doom does not get his Doom off at the right time and those ultimates are used already, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, however, if he can initiate and get his Doom off on the Death Prophet, or even on the Tide, before either of them use their ultimates, it's huge. Even if Death Prophet's already used her ultimate and he gets the Doom off on her, it's not the end of the world. I mean, yeah, Exorcism's going to be flying around doing a bunch of damage, but Death Prophet can do a lot with her other skills. That silence, low cooldown, big AoE, long duration. I mean, it can really mess up team fights. And of course, Swarm is so spammable. It's what, 4-second cooldown, and you're just throwing damage out all over the place.
Yep. Very short cooldown. And Anchor Smash, a similar spell, especially with the AoE that it does have, but we will see Rasta and the Mirana banned out here. Mirana, not a hero that they picked up too much, but on the other side, Jolly Judas will ban out the Wraith King and the Earthshaker. I like both of those decisions, and they're going to go ahead and grab up the Skywrath Mage, and they've used this to great effect before. The last game we cast them, actually, they did have a Skywrath Mage. I was incorrect. They didn't have a Rasta and a Sand King, but we do see the Sven coming out of Impulse, and I like that decision. Again, the game that we casted was with the Sven was actually the same game from Jolly Judas, and the Sven was still a very incredibly strong hero in that game, and almost pulled out the win for Dota Waffle Squad is the name of the team. That was a really interesting game, and I'm really excited to see Sven in the hands of this team and what they're going to do with it.
So what are the possibilities here? You put Viper mid, you safe lane Doom, you go aggro with the Sven.
Other
you
way
put
around.
Viper mid, you offlane the Doom, you go safe lane with the Sven.
Yep.
You put Doom mid, you safe lane the Viper against the Tidehunter, and you go aggro with the Sven. You can do a lot with these lanes.
That's true. That's true. And they are Radiant side, so Doom offlane is still very viable. He'll get a ton of experience, a ton of farm. He's not really going to get stagnated all that much, to be honest. Whereas the other offlane is going to be experiencing a lot more problems.
Rubik.
I like that
Rubik.
Rubik. Well, and the thing is Black Hole is very easy to steal. Ravage is a little more complicated. But the nice thing about having Ravage and Black Hole is Rubik can steal Black Hole, but if you Ravage him and burst him, then it doesn't matter. But again, that being said, it's an interesting game. If Rubik never steals the ults, it really doesn't make that big of an impact. But Rubik can also do some incredibly interesting things. Like, he could steal Exorcism, activate it, and then steal Ravage during the fight.
Yep. A Tinker ban, interesting.
I do I don't know if I like that actually, because the Sven support would be alright in this situation, because Sven is incredibly tanky. He could survive a lot of the burst damage coming out, but Sven's support is also very greedy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And their lineup is... Honestly, actually, that does make decent amount of sense, because their lineup isn't greedy at all. Sven could be a perfectly fine support in this situation with the Rubik. Lift into Stormhammer is absolutely devastating as far as disable time goes, as well as the damage that comes out from that, because then you just fade bolt follow up and bam, free kill.
10 seconds to go.
I'm really
5 seconds.
trying to think here. What the Dire is going to be picking here as their carry? I mean, we've seen them run, Marana in the past, but I don't think Marana's the pick here. Plus, she's obviously banned.
Banned, yeah.
But like,
Sand
I don't
King?
think that type of hero.
No,
And
because
then
they have
farm up the Tide.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that'd be like a fear strategy. Honestly, why not Clockwork here? Because Clockwork can create so much havoc that it becomes hard for Rubik and Doom to execute their spells properly.
Is that enough though? You're relying on just Death Prophet to deal all the damage?
I mean, Ravage does a lot of damage in and of itself, and so does Mystic Flare. Obviously, those heroes are going to get BKBs at decent timings, but if all three, Doom, Sven, and Viper, get BKBs, you're almost going to lose the game anyways, right? Because you can't Ravage them, you can't... Like, I don't know. Maybe they're at a little bit of a impasse in the draft here, where they're caught between a rock and the hard place. Whatever they do, they need to be comfortable with it. That's the most important thing for me. They really need to know what they're doing, or be comfortable with what they're doing, and they could go pure mid game, or they could actually pick up a late game physical damage hero.
Yeah, they do have quite a bit of versatility too. I know Big Rock used to. I'm pretty sure he used to play carry, and he's relatively new to playing support. Indy, of course, has played support. Futzy normally plays support.
Nature's Prophet. I really like that pick, because right now, honestly, there's not much, but the Templar Assassin is a decent hero to put in the lane. It is a support Sven, but I really do like the Nature's Prophet pick. Personally, I love playing the hero. I love the hero. I love what he does. But in this situation, what I like about him is that it's hard to gank him with the heroes they have. Sven and Rubik as a roaming combo in the mid to late game are not going to be really roaming around by themselves, right? And in the mid game, and as long as he doesn't get picked off and gets a decent timing on the Midas, they can always avoid fights by split pushing with him. But that being said, we'll go ahead and introduce the teams. We have Gucci on the Radiant side. Playing for them, we have Trigex. On the support, Rubik. Boobsies, who we've seen on Red Bulls, playing the support Sven. We have Revan, Justice, playing the Viper. Looks like to be mid. We have Doom, played by Little Mag, 126. Will be the safe lane. And actually, Impulse is the mid Templar Assassin, which means a aggressive tri-lane with the Viper farming it.
And on the Dire side, we have Jolly Judas playing on the Death Prophet, as always. We have Goofy playing on the Tidehunter. We have Crane again. He played a terrific Tidehunter in the first game we casted these guys. We got Futzy playing with the Nature's Prophet. He went boots first. We've got Indie Bear on the Skywrath Mage, and we got Big Rock on the Enigma.
I really like this. They just placed the sword, immediately ran out, and now they know this lane is aggressive, so they can choose to dodge if they want to, and it looks like that's what they're going to do, because Crane's going to go to farm top, Death Prophet's going to farm middle, and the supports, Enigma can go either jungle. He can also farm Ancients, because he's Dire side, so what he can do is deny the creeps here, this is what Zai does, and then pull the Eidolons down here to farm the Ancients. Or he could just simply go in here.
I mentioned that the Furion started with boots first, but I didn't mention that the Tidehunter also started with boots first. So no matter what lane they're up against, they're going to feel relatively safe, because I don't think they had any idea where these lanes were going to be for the Radiant side.
Look at Trigex and Boobsies. They are in position for this gank, but I think that honestly the Dire team, Jolly Judas, is doing a great job with the ward. Yeah, and they did see them run into the shop. I should mention that too. This ward does see up into this point. So they did see them run into there. And now Crane shouldn't get ganked. He should play smart here. And he does have that boots first. And yeah, look, Crane is doing exactly what he needs to. And this is wasting the support's time. And guess what Enigma's doing right now? And guess what also they didn't do? there is not a single ward in the jungle to block Enigma's camps. There's only a vision ward to see his rotations and ganks, which means continual farm for Enigma, and Enigma is the fastest jungler in the game, bar none. Oh, Crane. Very great play. They're going to pull the creep wave and get the creep equilibrium back, and now this gank is 100% wasted, and you know, at this point, I feel like Boopsies and Trigex should be saying, you know, they probably saw this, they have a ward, there's no reason he'd be playing that safe by himself, and they should deward that. But we'll see if they make that play, and if they don't, honestly, Crane's just going to get so much out of this lane because of that ward. And already, Boopsies and, Indie Bear and Futsi are getting so much done in this bottom lane against the Doom. 2 last hits for him, whereas there's already 4 for Nature's Prophet. And they're just able to zone him back, and I feel like that 2 will turn into, or not increase too much as the, pun intended, as the Prophet gets a lot more of the CS because of the tree harass as well as getting that phase boots early, which is what he'll do, and then immediately go into Midas.
So just looking at this game so far, I think right now Radiant has a little bit of an advantage in terms of lanes, but I think the Dire side is doing a very good job of dealing with it. In the middle lane, you obviously have a slightly favored lane for TA, but I realize it's only in the early levels, but the Death Prophet, Goofy on the Death Prophet seems to be doing fine against IM. In the bottom lane, you know, you've got the Nature's Prophet against Doom, but of course, you know, you've got Skywrath down there, and that lane's actually pretty even. And then Ends Hop, Crane's doing a really good job against this lane, with the supports kind of lingering around.
DD is picked up by TA.
Haven't been able to do anything as they have smoked up.
They did smoke up outside of that vision of that ward. It was
There
a very
was a
smart play.
ping right on the ward by Crane right as that smoke went out.
So Crane might have actually seen it, and look at Goofy's positioning. Honestly, right now, I'm really impressed by all of them right now. They are making these what I like to call non-tell reads. Now, yes, they saw the smoke, but this is just them playing really smart because Crane is playing back. Goofy is playing back. They know the 2 supports are missing, so why risk this CS? And this smoking, again, wasted. And the Enigma is completely safe, too. Look at his positioning, staying completely out of this gank potential, and honestly, just great play coming out of the Dire side so far, and I really got to add to what you're saying about they're dealing with the fact that the lanes would lose straight up if they just stood in the lanes, but the way they're moving is definitely helping them so much.
They're certainly not winning. They're certainly not getting ahead right now. But the key thing is they're not losing.
They're actually bringing the... I mean, it's early in the game, so the golden experience doesn't mean too much, but they are bringing the golden experience back towards 0, which is important.
Yeah, but they're not opening themselves up for Radiant to really capitalize on their lane strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important that they're not losing at this point.
Crane is getting dominated in the top lane, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as long as he gets Arcane Boots and a Blink Dagger, he's done what he needs to do, and Enigma's just getting free farm. And the biggest thing out of this is Trigex and the Sven have gotten absolutely nothing. Skywrath Mage, yeah, he doesn't have much, but he doesn't care. He's a Skywrath Mage. He can catch up later. This Enigma has gotten a ton. He's already level 4. He's got his Soul Ring. And now Boopsy is setting up off to the side. And this is the right lane to gank. I cannot speak. This is the right lane to gank because they have no wards for this. And Boopsy moving in, wrapping around Futsi will get caught out here. Should TP away. It looks like Indie Bear is going to run away and stall them, and this is a great play. The TP will happen, and Prophet will get away. The question is, does Indie Bear get away? He's running, but the right clicks from Trigex are enough to net that kill. And honestly, for 4 minutes of them rotating, it's a first blood, and it's good, but it took them 4 minutes to get this kill, and they've tried twice. And that's got to be weighing in their head a little bit. And honestly, again, Dire just doing a good job. They should have maybe seen that coming, but...
I mean, it took that kill for Sven to hit 2. That's how ineffective the supports have been thus far. But yeah, just the way Futsi and Indie Bear were playing in the bottom lane, it was only a matter of time before that rotation was going to happen. Not necessarily that they shouldn't have been playing up like that, but...
Crane taking
some
right clicks. Yeah, he is going to get dove. There is not a Viper strike, but the TP is enough to prevent the Viper from continuing this dive. Indie Bear shouldn't be able to turn this, or get the kill, I mean. Will be able to push him away, and Crane will survive for another day, and you know, if he gets this last hit, he does. That is his Arcane Boots.
That was a good job by Raven Justice on this Viper to not risk it. You know, he's doing fine. He's the leader in last hits right now. Why dive and risk dying himself just to get a kill on a Tidehunter who's, you know, doing the worst out of the farmers in this game. So, if you're the best,
Oh, Doom goes down onto Nature's Prophet in the bottom lane. He had already activated Scorcher, so he should be able to dive this tower and get the kill. I don't think there's any TP support. Looks like Prophet is going to dive all the way to the T2 and will die. Experience goes to Doom as he does get the kill, which means the experience is global. And on the last hit note as well, I think Impulse is doing a really good job considering that I think Goofy should win. Heroes with spamming abilities should generally be ahead, but I think Impulse is doing a good job with his denies and his last hits. He's gotten 13 of them. And, you know, Goofy's gotten his last hits because of Crypt Swarm, but definitely Impulse abusing the strength of Refraction.
Actually, the first 3-4 levels, Death Prophet will do well in this lane. But beyond that, that's when TA really starts taking over the lane, and that's exactly what we've seen with the last hits. TA has basically come back into it, and she's only now just a little bit ahead of the Death Prophet. But this is actually a hero that you don't like to play against when you're Death Prophet. You don't want to see a TA on the other team, just because of how the lane goes and just how TA plays against a Death Prophet.
I'm not entirely sure what Futse is doing here, but he did go for a double Null Talisman build.
Oh yeah, I've heard a little bit about this build. Nature's Prophets are starting to get 4 Null Talismans and then Dagon. It's
Why?
really weird. And you just keep moving around the map, keep teleporting around the map, and keep Dagoning, and just putting pressure. I don't know, it's really weird. I don't really understand it, but apparently it's been seen in pro play. And a couple pro players have started doing it.
Well, we'll see how it works out for them. The second Null Talisman is already out. Concussive Shot does go to zone as well as the Midnight Pulse. They shouldn't be able to actually stop this tower push. Courier is flying out with boots as well as a buckler that gives another 2 armor to this creeps. Fortify will be used here, but a new creep wave is already on the way, and they should be able to finish this tower, although I think it's a smart decision to choose not to. No, it's not actually. It's because the siege creep will bring this tower down to below deny range and will be able to be denied. But a tower down is a tower down.
Yep. Especially at this point in the game, you just want to get your items going. You know, and sometimes it sucks to get a tower denied because it's a little bit of lost gold. But if it helps you get a little bit more of that map control, then that's what you want, because that's going to get you more gold in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well,
Oopsie's in a little bit of a...
We'll be able to steal this haste rune and get away. No chance of them getting any kills there, as he does just casually run away. Courier is flying out what looks like to be the first parts, the mechanism for Doom, as he is going for that. Stun will go out onto Crane. They might be able to get this kill as Doom does follow up. Crane has 3 points in Kraken Shell, however, so right clicks are not going to do anything, but he is just going to run around circles, and the deny will happen from the Enigma. Great TP, and now Boopsies goes down to the Nature's Prophet.
Oh, that was
great play. Just, yeah, absolutely great play. And honestly, I got to give Crane a little bit of credit there, too, to that. The rotations were great, but not freaking out and continuing to run, knowing that his teammates are TPing below over here, and everyone else is up here, so he runs to where they're TPing rather than continue to run with the enemy heroes. And that's just collective play right there, and this turns into a push right off the bat, and Doom is on CD for 60 seconds. Rubik's level 5.
Sorry, I forgot to mention, the Nature's Prophet get Blade Mail. You go the Null Talismans, you go Null Talismans, I think it's anywhere from 2 to 4 Null Talismans, then you get Blade Mail, then you go Dagon.
I hope that's part of your plan.
And it gets your health up, it gets your attack damage up, even though Nature's Prophet already has good attack damage, good attack animation, gets that up, and then you're just like this walking tank that can throw a ton of damage, and you can't get focused because of Blade Mail.
Well, we'll see how that build works out for them as they do start to mount the push here. Stormhammer does go out, as well as the Fade Bolt, to clear up these summons to stall this push, and that's what they want to do, because they want to get the farm up on their heroes, but at the same token, oh, never mind, Raven will be diving the top lane. He did use Viper Strike as well as 2 more right clicks, following up with the poison, and now Futsi is here. Does have the Ravage as well, but they're not going to need it with that Malefice, and honestly, just great rotation so far from every angle at every lane. They're just moving the heroes the right way they need to. And again, Prophet being there first, freeing up a teleport so that teleport for Enigma was only 2 seconds instead of a 3.5 second TP, and Radiant's going to go ahead and take their play and push this bottom lane, try to get this tower down. Already down 500 HP, but they're going to be maybe trading for a T2 at this rate.
2 more things to note. We have basically exactly the same mech timing coming out between the Doom and the Enigma. And I didn't notice it until
Radiant's top tower
Futty
is
TP'd in
under
there
siege.
and sprouted the Viper, but Raven Justice on the Viper has picked up a Quelling Blade because he was in the off lane as the Viper, which obviously isn't really to increase his ability to
Oh,
last.
sorry to cut you off, but Impulse in the bottom lane did get gone on by Indie Bear and the
Good
Nature's
Goofy.
Prophet, but it looks like with the Doom, they might be able to turn this around. Goofy taking a lot of damage. Will he die from this? The answer is most likely yes, as Footsie does get the deny. And that's a second deny, and they haven't gotten those kills. It looks like Impulse will run after this, and I think, honestly, with the dodge on that meld, they should have turned it around because the damage from Refraction is nice, but if you don't get that meld strike, her damage is definitely a lot weaker. -6 armor is a huge difference, especially when Skywrath Mage has all of 1 armor, and Nature's Prophet should have only 3 or 4 right now. Oh wait, I forgot. Null Talismans are good, and he has a chainmail. So, 11 armor, not too bad.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a different build, but I heard about it only maybe 5 or 6 days ago, and yeah, as I thought about it, it's not the worst build. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, no.
This is my first game actually really seeing it being played in competitive. So.
Middle tower will be able to be denied here. Actually, great micro here by the Enigma. Not deniable, which means he should be able to get it with this wave. The question is, will Doom get the right click? But Doom ran away, so with the Prophet teleporting in as well, not even needing to, this tower will go down, and 2-tower advantage going to the dire side already. Great start here by Jolly Judas. This game is honestly lining up to be incredibly action-packed. We do see that Blade Mail being picked up by Footsie here.
Yeah, we've seen both great plays from both teams so far. Just really good map awareness, really good rotations from both teams. You can tell all the players in this game know where they need to be on the map, and they've been there at roughly the right times.
And this stack going to Crane right now is absolutely huge. This will be his Blink Dagger for sure. There's no way they can punish this right now. They just don't have the position to do it. Maybe this TA will come around, but there are 4 heroes in the area. TA is wrapping around as they go down the middle lane themselves, and TA is going to try to steal this camp, but she can only get 1 or 2 of these creeps, and she's going to take a ton of damage, and they could just honestly turn around in here and kill her, but they're just going to take Goofy and the Prophet into the top lane and trade for a T2. Meanwhile, Crane comes back in and just takes this creep stack again. These Eidolons will be cleared up. TPs are coming as the Doom does not want this tower to go down, and the TA, but now they can just pressure bottom because 2 TPs were used. They have Ravage coming up on Crane, and he has his Blink Dagger. And look, they immediately just TP Goofy, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Heads up play coming out of Jolly Judas. We'll see if they can get anything out of this. The concussive shot actually hits 2. Raven and Trigex are hit. Raven taking a ton of damage. Trigex as well, and Raven will fall. The ultimate doesn't, the Nature's Wrath doesn't actually hit Trigex, as the Prophet will teleport offensively into the trees to see if anyone's TPing, and no one is, so they'll summon or get all the summons up and start sieging down this tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
That
siege.
was really good. I don't know who was coordinating that, but it was most likely Goofy, but it could have been Futsie as well. But yeah, just forcing the Radiant side to respond to that push top, freeing up their ability to do the Ancients at the bottom lane. But instead of that, they actually just TP'd and didn't waste the Exorcism, and instead got the tier 1 bottom.
And now they can even pressure his T2.
Really good, forcing the enemy team to respond to you on the map, and then just switching it up.
And the Ancients are still there for the taking. It's not like the Ancients disappear. So they're getting things that they wouldn't necessarily be able to get later. And now the Radiant side does want to defend this. They're not going to want to lose a T2 for free. There are both sets of summons out pushing this tower, clearing up this creep wave. But it looks like the Radiant or the Dire side is just going to go ahead and back up here. Jolly Judas does not want to take a fight here, as Gucci is in position for this, and I think Crane needs to get out. He needs to clear this creep, and he needs to blink over the trees, and he will.
Oh, there's the word spotting that.
Yeah, although the Doom, I think, was over here, so he was in fog for the most part. But actually, middle lane, not anything going to come of this. Gush does come out onto the Templar Assassin. Blink forward from Crane as he wants to go in. The Doom onto the Tidehunter, but now he's just going to run away. In the next fight, they're going to have, or when Doom is over, they're going to have, God damn it, Ravage up. The concussive shot does go on to Templar Assassin. She's slowed. Little cut out in the black hole. Hits on 2 with the Mystic Flare doing so much damage, and now the TA is going to probably fall from all these right clicks. Great stun from the Sven. Deals quite a bit of damage, and now this Arcane Bolt trying to finish off the Templar Assassin. She's so close to dead, and she will get out alive, bottling up to heal up, and now Mag takes decent amount of damage from this Ravage, but will fall. And meanwhile, Goofy in the top lane getting that free tower with his Exorcism, and now the push continues into middle lane as the summons are up. Big Rock getting those Eidolons, and now the trees are there too, and that's going to be 1 hero hero and 2 towers for literally nothing but cooldowns. And now Mag actually might be caught out as he's in the Sprout. They have the Malefice, they have the Anchor Smash, as well as the Arcane Bolts, the right clicks. Will it be enough as he drops down to 60 HP? He's almost dead, but no. Futse will pop that Blade Mail to deal some damage if they try to go on him. Now Big Rock a little far out. They should focus the summons on the tower, but it isn't actually going to go down. They lose their bottom tower to creeps during this, and a little bit of an overextension. It was to Viper, okay.
Yeah.
And he TP'd out.
It was Viper and Death Prophet were fighting over the tower down there. Viper got the last hit. Oh, sorry. The Radiant side got the last hit.
Well, again, action-packed game, and this is just very back and forth, but Jolly Judas is doing a good job with what they have and pulling them around. And actually, is he going in for a Midas now? Or a Maelstrom. Sorry, the Nature's Prophet. It looks like he's probably going to go in for a Maelstrom. I doubt you pick up a Midas at this point. You would have picked it up earlier instead of Blade Mail. There's no reason to pick it up this late. And also, I'd like to point out that the counter push coming out of the Dire side is actually really strong. Death Prophet is one of the safest counter pushers in the game because the animation of Crypt Swarm is very quick and safe. And the range is really long, as well as the AoE.
I like this going the Maelstrom instead of the Dagon. I think it's actually a lot better.
Yeah,
Dagon makes a lot more sense to me.
Dagon's a timing item, much like Desolator in my opinion. It doesn't build into anything except for Tinker, because he can rearm it. But if you can hit a timing with Dagon, it's a great item. But if you don't hit that timing, you're going to lose the game because it doesn't give you anything else. Middle tower is getting pinged out to be pushed here by Gucci, as they will move 4 heroes into the middle lane, soon to be 5, as TA is following up the rear. They do throw down the Midnight Pulse a little bit early, but all of them are here, and already they're gonna use the fact that they have to push this T1 to try to trade for a Rax, and this is a really great decision. They throw out the trap to help slow here.
They know the timing. They know that this Dire side can't defend. They don't have Black Hole. They don't have Ravage.
But actually Doom onto Goofy as he runs forward to try to get the ulti off. He will get chased out, plus the right clicks from the tower might be enough to get the kill. They throw out the Warcry, but Goofy is continuing to run. The question is, will he die? Futse taking quite a bit of damage. He should try to TP here as soon as possible, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Sprout is throwing off on him. They do have a Fade Bolt, and Goofy lives. So yeah, they lose the Prophet, but I don't know. That was an interesting trade where Raven Justice wants to try to go in on this. Indy Bear says, no, I actually want to go on you. Turns around to the Ravage, hits 2 with the great Midnight Pulse. All of Impulse's refraction charges are gone, and Impulse is down to 65 health. Will get thrown up in the air. That TP canceled and will fall. 2 kills. Very important going to the side of Jolly Judas.
We'll take Roche here.
Yeah, Goofy's ult was never used because of that Doom. Honestly, Jolly Judas is really impressing me. I mean, I know we played against you guys a ton, but just the decisions coming out of them right now are really thoughtful, and they're using all the information that they can get to make the best possible decisions. Yeah, they got, lost a hero down there, but they didn't let that affect them. They turned it around in middle immediately, and now this Roshan is free. So much collateral.
Yeah, the Doom in the top lane on Goofy on the Death Prophet actually.
And actually, they might get another kill here as the Doom was running up. He does get Malefice. The second tick is coming through. It doesn't look like they have enough follow-up damage as they do throughout the Gush, dealing a decent amount of damage. But Indy Bear not wanting to commit. Very low mana on all the heroes. Maybe could have netted that kill, but if you're going to make a decision, make it as a team. And backing off as a team is just as fine as diving that kill as a team. Yeah. You just got to do it as a team.
You got your advantage. You got your kills. Your 2 kills made. You got your Roche. Don't push it too much. Take that advantage and stay with it. Don't force it too much. But as I was saying, that Doom in the top lane actually brought Death Prophet down to 80 health, but she had the regen bottle, so that's why she was able to show up at the mid fight full health and ready to go again.
Yeah, they didn't even really need her, honestly, with the plays from the Enigma on the timing of his Midnight Pulse. It's one of the strongest spells in the game. It's really underrated because it does 11% or 7% of your HP per second. It's basically like a Necrophos passive on crack with one of the biggest AoEs in the game. It's absolutely amazing. I love that spell. And it also, one thing I'd also like to add to that is it works incredibly well against TA because it's instant damage. So they have a ton of ways to burn down refraction. Oh, actually in middle lane, they are going to blink in. Doom does have that blink, gets the Doom onto Big Rock. There is Black Hole up as well as Mech, but honestly, he might not even have the chance to turn around. Goofy is coming into this as well, but they do get the pick off on the Enigma, but now the Yule's throwing him into the air. They throw out the Viper Stripe onto Goofy as he pops the ultimate, so he won't be able to pursue here, and this is a little bit of a waste of Goofy's ultimate, as he's not going to be able to pursue at all. Although they do still have the Aegis, so there's really no reason to keep running, but Goofy gets his ult stolen and immediately popped by Trigex as he does use that. And now the ulti for Goofy Goofy is not going to be running. It's imperative that they get rid of this Rubik, and they are, as he blinks in with the Anchor Smash and immediately crushes him into the ground. And now Raven Justice is caught out in the background with the Mystic Flare, dealing quite a bit of damage. The 2 Arcane Bolts are following, and now the TP. Is it going to be enough? He throws the Yules up in the air, and that will be enough to cancel the TP and get that kill. Jolly Judas getting 2 more kills on the board while trading for 2, and now the concussive shot flies out. Do they want to continue off of this? They possibly could. Blink Gush is coming, and the TP from the Prophet to have the Sprout, which means he won't be able to get out. And they do have Ravage. That is worth noting. And if they overcommit here and get caught out of position, Ravage could be very powerful, but the trap slow is incredibly strong. Will prevent that from happening, and backdoor protection means that this tower won't go down yet.
I think they actually could have taken that with focus, but
Risk of a deny, though, I think, with the TA. And there it is.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied.
Do they want to go high ground here? Because they still have Ravage. They still have Black Hole. Big Rock running in. Meld does miss.
misses him in 40.
And look, he blinks in. Looks like he could go for the Black Hole here, and he hits 2. But the great cancel by the Doom. But now they also get to the 3-man Ravage, hitting multiple heroes. Trigex goes down. Doom on low health. And the Templar taking quite a bit of damage. The stun goes out from the Sven. But they have all their summons to push. Raven is back up. Throws out the Viper Strike onto Crane. But he does not have an Aghanim. So the cooldown on this is going to be pretty damn long. But they don't have enough creeps from their lane to actually push this. So they will have to back up. But that could have gone a lot better. I think Big Rock should have waited. Like, you need to wait for the Enigma. Or not the Enigma. You need to wait for the Ravage, because Ravage is going to set up your Black Hole, because then you can sit there and have that half second to say, alright, I want these 2 heroes or these 3 heroes. I need to get all 3, right? And if he would have waited for the Ravage, maybe he is able to set up the Black Hole so he clips the Doom, but as it is, it doesn't happen. And now Doom in the jungle does get used up in the air, but I don't think there's going to be enough to follow this up. They throw out the Crypt Swarm. They are going to TP in the Prophet, and now they could get the Sprout. They do throw it off. He's trapped in there with it, and Malefice is coming off in 4 seconds. He also has the Blade Mail, so he's taking as much damage as he's healing from that Scorched Earth, which completely mitigates it. Not really helping him right there. Now they're going to chain this off into a push bottom, and Doom was wasted, so even when Doom comes up, 85 seconds.
Yeah, the Jolly Judas is just playing so good right now. They're all over the place, and they're all over the place, but in a good way.
It's coordinated.
They're all over the place, but suddenly they're all there.
Oh, and actually, Rubik tries to steal the Crypt Swarm, gets blinked on, does get thrown up in the air, and will get bursted down. Raven and Justice is there, and Boopsies gets a great 4-man stun, but honestly, it's not going to be enough as they do silence him up and pop the Death Prophet ulti. Boopsie already going to fall. Raven Justice throwing out the ulti onto Goofy, but Goofy has Yules, as well as a bottle coming up soon. He might take enough damage to fall here, pops the Invis Rue, and will survive with 20 HP, mech'd up at the last second, and now they can turn around this onto Raven Justice, as he is pretty low HP, and there's no Doom. They should know about this. TA is pushing middle, and I believe that should be Goofy TPing. No, it's not. It's the Skywrath Mage and Indie Bear making a little bit of a mistake there, as Templar Assassin will just absolutely wreck his face. And now this tower should fall, to be fair. Actually, fortification will be enough to prevent him from falling.
Has fortified its structures.
Templar Assassin just finished that the Desolator, but obviously Indy should have known TPing into it. But yeah, a little bit of a mistake there from him, but it does get her to stop pushing, I guess.
Yeah, and she does actually get spotted out in the jungle. They do have a Yules coming out of Goofy. If she could get in range to get it off, they might be able to get the kill, but no. I don't think they have any stun follow-up is the problem to get that kill right now.
Oh, smoke coming out from the Radiant side. 4 heroes.
Yeah, they really want to take this fight, and they want to take it now. Impulse is the only one that's not part of this smoke. He will be the bait, picking up this haste rune. He will come in from the side. Now, Goofy is the one. They're going to look to get the gank here. He does have a Bloodstone. Actually, no, the gank might just go on to Crane, and, you know, Crane blinks away, and now this smoke gank is completely blown. There's not going to be anything that they're going to get from this. It would be smart for them to doom Crane, and they do. Goofy does get bursted down, but he has the Yules, doesn't get it off, but the Bloodstone will heal up the rest of his team. We do see Rubik stealing Malefice, but a 2-man Sprout will stall him up. Impulse is just going ham, though, because he has his Desolator, and this is what they need to be careful of. If they start to lose fights like this, it can immediately turn.
That was really good execution from the Radiant side. That was actually looking like it was going to be a wasted smoke because Crane was just in a good position to come down and pop it. But I don't even know if he knew they were there, but he reacted accordingly with his blink.
Yep.
But you know, it ended up in the other 4 heroes on his team getting
that haste rune too. Doing so much, but the question is, do they continue to push this here? And I don't think they will. I think they'll back up, and that's the smart decision.
Take your advantage, drop back, farm your jungle, farm up that bottom lane. There was a point there where some heroes on the Radiant side weren't making any item progress at all. Doom had been basically picked up his plate mail and he was sitting at 400 or 500 gold for a while. But now he's actually gotten up to 1700 gold, so we'll have to see him making a little bit of item progression.
Yep.
And,
Crane going straight into the refresher as well. Definitely very important. I think this game is incredibly even going into the late game right now. I think that most of this game is just going to come down to execution at this point. And that's both a very scary and beautiful prospect for the players, because it all comes down to their execution, their play, whether or not they're going to win this game. And oh, Goofy actually in a little bit of a weird position, does get stunned out, will get burst down and lifted and changed stun, but the black hole is almost perfect, gets cancelled, and Goofy uses ultimate, but nothing happens out of it. A little bit of miscommunication as they're just staggering into these fights one by one. They will lose the Enigma, and both the black hole and the exorcism were used, and this is definitely a time where you got to know they're going to continue to push, and with that trap, they're going to be able to slow the Skywrath and get him bursted down. Crane will be chained down as well with the slow from the trap. The Doom still on him, so he won't be able to blink away, and that is 8 unanswered kills in a row.
That was just a silly mistake from the Dire side. They had 2 heroes down the mid lane by the old Radiant tier 2, and their next 2 closest heroes were in the middle river. And they were just really far away, and I don't know if maybe this Radiant ward had something to do with it, or even this one. But yeah, they just capitalized on it. And
I agree.
More heroes.
First T3 siege will begin by the Radiant side. It's already going to go down. Desolator just chunking away those towers. The Prophet is in the bottom lane to try to apply some split pressure, but that only works when you can stop the push that they're currently bringing out. And buyback and Tide will blink in. He throws out the Ravage immediately and hits 3 heroes. It looks like Impulse will go down, and that is a decently important kill. They're going to need to chain more off of this, though. 3 of them heroes grouped up. They're not sure what they want to do, but Trigex turns around and uses the black hole that he had stolen. I did not point that out, as it was actually stolen early on. Actually a really good black hole, but they're still turning around as Futsu comes in from behind, and now Boopsies is going to go down. And those unanswered kills are all of a sudden answered in a big way, and now the Dire side needs to push down middle hard. They need to get this advantage, or they need to take this advantage and get structures. And honestly, they should be able to, because Exorcism was used before Crane died, or Goofy died, so it's coming off of cooldown now, and Prophet's already in that bottom lane applying pressure.
Yeah, that's one way you make up for a rather big mistake that you made, but they did lose a Rax. Albeit it's only a ranged Rax, but they need to get a Rax back.
Yep.
In exchange for this.
And buyback status, we do have TA, Viper, and all 4 heroes who are currently down at buyback, so it will be really hard for them to actually secure this tower. Fortify will go out, as they don't need to use the buybacks yet. 2 heroes are coming up really quickly. Now, Viper, the only one down. How do they choose to initiate this? They should probably just take the 3-3 tower and back out, because they don't have any ultimates. But Sven's going to go in, and he does blink in with that God Strength, dealing quite a bit of damage with the Storm Hammer, hitting to Futsi, going down really quickly, will get bursted, already falls. Crane in the background, isolated from the rest of his team, and Goofy commits suicide, actually. A great play by him, considering he was going to die anyways. They do get that tower. Crane gets out alive, and so does Indie Bear, but they should have backed out a little bit sooner, because that's what's going to happen if you stay around too long. It's not like the Radiant side lacks initiation. You have to pay dividends to that and respect their range of initiation.
Yeah, they had the same thought that I had about, you lost Rax, you made a mistake, now you need to get Rax back in return. But the glyph was there. The timing of their push wasn't going to allow for them to get Rax before the respawns came up, and unfortunately they stayed a little long. But it ended up they lost a bunch of heroes, and now this is going to result in Radiant getting Roshan. But Dire's actually looking to contest it.
Yeah, and they could contest it. They do have Ravage coming off soon, but honestly, it's going to be down before they could contest it. So I'm going to take what I said and ignore that point. Actually, it looks like Doom does pick up the Aegis of Immortality, and Futsu making a little bit of questionable decision. Blinks in, and Viper picked off as well. So we had an Aegis steal attempt. Prophet dies, and we have Viper dying over here. Not entirely sure how that happened.
Yeah, I was actually watching that fight. Crane was doing the Ancients, and Indie Bear on the Skywrath just kind of walked down, and I thought he was actually going to walk down the ramp and get picked off by the Viper. But Viper ended up stepping up the ramp, and Sky just put a slow down, Tide gushed, and Anchor smashed, and then Sky dropped the ultimate, whatever it's called. But and then Viper just fell over.
Well, the Dire side will the Radiant side will back up after this, because the ultimates are coming off of cooldown now, and I feel like this next fight is going to make or break this game in a lot of ways. It's at that tension point where whoever wins the next fight is going to get a Rax or two, and that's pretty much game. Both of these teams don't have mega late game carries that can handle 2+ Rax.
Absolutely. This game has just been so close and so tense for such a long time. It's just waiting for one team
There's the smoke up.
to get that advantage.
Honestly, if they could kill TA and get the Aegis was already used. No, it was on Doom. So if they could kill TA, I think that'd be definitely worth it. TA is gonna TP back though because that trap. Actually, I should have pointed that out. That trap, the real MVP. Now the smoke ink basically wasted. They could get something out of this, but honestly, the Radiant's not gonna let them. They're gonna stay far back in their vision range where they know they're safe, and smoke's gonna end and nothing comes of it.
TA completed her Manta style. We got Furian's been building a Necro book. He's got a Necro book at level 1.
Looks like they're going down middle. They want to fight this. They say, you know what, your smoke ink's over. Let's see what you can do. But Rubik isn't in position for this. I think this could be a great opportunity for the Dire side to just win this game, because if they can get a team fight right here, right now, in the next 5 to 10 seconds before Rubik's in position, they will win this game.
And the Dire side should have just seen that Rubik's there right now.
Yep.
Walked past the ward, so.
Let's see what
They should
happens
know
here.
that there's only 4
Trigex
heroes
way
here.
out of position. He does have Blink and Force Staff, but if they want to go, they're going to need to go soon. They're waiting for Trigex, it looks like, and it looks like he's going to be here in time.
Unfortunately, I think it's very difficult for this Dire side to have engaged on them. I think they just need to hold their high ground and wait for a Radiant trying to push.
That's exactly what they're going to do. They are going to be able to hold up and wait.
You've got a Prophet on your team
Smoke
too.
up, though. And that was not in the range of any ward, so they're just going to go ahead and barrel up this lane, and unless they're in a good position to handle this, this is going to go really bad, really quick. They need to stay spread out, they need to not get double stunned, and they need to be ready to reinitiate. Futsi in a great position, applying pressure to that top lane, and now they want to go in. Doom goes off onto Goofy, they do get it on immediately, and immediately the Mystic Flare onto the Woopsies, and they get the Ravage as well as the Black Hole on 3 different heroes. Trigex runs into it, doesn't get it. Black Hole is stolen, it hits on 2 of the Dire side heroes, and now the Tidehunter is down. But so is the Rubik. No, the Rubik's going to live. Futsi is still going to die as well. And Goofy did buy back for this. The Nature's Prophet goes down. And unfortunately with that, I don't feel like they're going to be able to defend this Rax. Maybe he gets the Doom, but that is just the Aegis. Goofy now getting kited down as well. Remember, he bought back. This would be a dieback. And in this situation, a dieback is not what needs to happen. Doom blinks forward to try to go for Goofy. Goofy is kiting him. Can he continue the kite and get the kill? It looks like he might be able to. And they're diving a little hard right now. And everything I just said is completely out the window. Radiant does not even get the Rax. Loses 4 heroes. And I don't even know what to say. That was honestly just, you need to focus buildings. Like, don't get cocky. You need to focus buildings. They matter so much more.
If that fight goes the other way, the game's over.
Yep, straight up, right there. GG. You're on to the semifinals.
But I want to point out, Goofy did make a mistake there. He shouldn't have pushed out that far. It was a good play by the Radiant to back up and smoke, but you've got your top lane and your bottom lane pushing, and Radiant was going to have to defend those. If they were backing, they should have been almost at those lanes by then. Goofy should have just waited before pushing down that ramp to see them show up and show a face there. But he didn't. He stepped down, and of course they were in smoke, and he got picked off at the start of the fight.
Yep.
But, you know, he bought back, and he was very close to dying, but he didn't die, and it ended up turning the fight around.
Yeah, really strong kiting out of them, honestly. I think that was just incredibly smart decision making.
His Yule's timing was absolutely huge.
Yep. And maybe they might be able to pick off Poopsies here, as he is in the top lane. Does blink out of the sprout before the right click hit. Definitely
That was very close.
spot on timing there.
He's still chasing. Don't think he's going to catch that.
Oh, they do actually get him with the Yules, and the Yules does damage now, so that means he can't blink away anymore, and now this is definitely a kill. Yes, it is a kill.
I completely forgot about the Yule's damage.
And now, actually, you know what? Impulse might have made a pretty big mistake here as he does get turned around on. He does have decent amount of damage, and maybe Crane will fall, but with that Force Staff, it's enough, and now they have the slow as well as the Mystic Flare, dealing quite a bit of damage. Templar Assassin dropping low. He could try to turn on Goofy here, but honestly, he's going to go down, and this is a really bad situation, but Futsa might be picked off as well, but great game sense, immediately TPs and blinks away. They try to find him, Force Staff to clear the trees. Wow, man, this game is honestly a treat to watch. It is so close, so epic, and I just don't know what to say anymore, because whenever I try to call what's going on, just great plays or honestly a little bit of cocky or mistakes from either side throws it back and forth. And some people would say that's fun to watch. Some people would say it's kind of painful to watch. But honestly, this is just a good game for the most part. And I really hope that... I don't know. I'm really excited to see another good straight-up team fight. My bias is showing a little bit, but...
I feel like anyone watching SCS right now would be completely fine with this being the finals. This has been a terrific game so far. And both teams they've made their mistakes, but they've also played very, very well.
Well, this game ain't over yet. Impulse does have buyback. Only dead for 20 more seconds, so it'd kind of be a shame for him to have to use his buyback. Again, Exorcism being used immediately. Crybstorm, so it can't be stolen. Looks like Rubik will attempt to steal, goes, and gets the the Crybstorm. Fortify is used, so they don't have to use the buyback on Impulse. That is a smart decision. They throw down the Midnight Pulse as well to help zone, and I heard a blink, but it looks like it's just a defensive blink, and they just want to back up. They know most of their team fight is on cooldown, or going to be on cooldown. Exorcism's not going to last for the rest of the fight, and actually, Smoke coming out on the Courier. They want to go ahead and try to turn this right now, right here. But this ward didn't spot it, unless they were paying attention. Maybe they'd be able to see this, but Crane going to go farm the Ancients. Actually, please don't, Crane. He might stack it and then go back to farming, and that might be a game-breaking mistake. Indy Bear getting picked off would not be a big deal. Sven really wants this kill. They really want these kill, but honestly, again, great decision-making here. They didn't see them ever leave their base. Like, where are they? You have wards. You know where they are, and they immediately run back inside. And I really like this play coming out of them, and just heads up play. That's. I know you're not on the map, therefore you have to be ganking me. And now they're pinging it out. They dodge the gank, and they're going to be feeling great after that. And maybe they even try to turn it around here. Goofy has an Invis rune. And if they could pick off Impulse here, and then go for another push and force the buyback, that could be it. And since they never pushed out their lanes and went for this gank, remember, they have to defend this bottom lane. And now Impulse might try to TP out here, although it doesn't look like Goofy's going to be able to get in range for that. Close, though. Very close.
Yep. Actually, I had a few words with Indy Bear while we were waiting for Gucci to finish their game before this. And he was actually saying that they were a little disappointed with how they've been playing tonight, but I don't think they should at all be disappointed with how they're playing this game. They've been playing very well.
No, definitely.
And, we haven't got to see much of Gucci. I saw a little bit of their game before, and they had a pretty dominant performance in that game. So it looks like both teams they're definitely playing their best at the moment.
I definitely agree with that. Roshan will be up. This is a major contention point at this point. Let me just say at this point twice. There is a sentry or an obs ward that is going to be expiring there, which means the Roche control from Radiant side is going to be lacking comparatively to Dire side. And with that TP in, pings are coming out. Viper knows. It looks like that ward was just long enough for them to be able to see this. And honestly, depending on the positioning of Enigma and Tidehunter, I don't think you can fight into Roche as the Radiant, because if they get a good Black Hole and a good Ravage, you lose the fight immediately, and Impulse is completely out of position. Radiant side cannot get here quick enough, and they might be able to just snag this Roche right quick. It's down to 3,000 HP. It's getting really close. They're not committing enough damage. Oh, no, actually he just gets away. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, Roche goes down because of this. And now Cheese as well. Trap goes in there so they can see it. They know it's really low, and if they don't go, they're going to be dealing with Aegis and Cheese. And Futsa just eats the cheese. He's like, you know what? No. Too much stress. I'm eating it. I need it. I need it, guys. I need it. But Aegis does go on to him, and honestly, at this point, he is functionally their carry in every sense of the way. Like, yeah, so is Goofy, and I definitely agree with both you and Goofy's thought process on Death Prophet's potential as a carry, but Prophet is going to be your true carry this game. He's going to be the one that's going to shine for you as the game goes later and later and later.
But another thing that's really big here, Crane on the Tidehunter just finishes Refresher.
Ooh.
So that's going to be...
if he can land the first Ravage on 4 heroes, that's game, because the second one will come. And then the Black Hole. Futsi? Ooh, great blink. Immediately running away from TA here. He will just go ahead and stay in this lane as he doesn't have another TP. This does not give vision, if I am correct. It does not give vision of him, so he is safe in that tree spot. Interesting, they're a little spread out right now, but I think that's the right decision. They need to apply pressure, and they want to get the fight where they want. And if the Radiant side is able to push out the lanes and get it on their side of the river, the dire sides of the river, then Jolly Judas is going to have a hard time getting out and getting the fights the way they want to. And now Futsa actually...
standing
Yeah,
right on a wood.
Yeah.
Trap.
He actually blinked into it, looks like, and that will be the Aegis, and Impulse isn't even going to try to continue on that, because he knows Futsa is just going to blink out and get away.
Impulse is actually sitting on 4,800 gold on that TA.
And now two of them might be caught out, as Goofy does have the Yules. There is a BKB on Sven, so he could choose to pop it, and he does. He BKB TPs, and it looks like Impulse is immediately going to TP as well, so no kills coming out there, except for the lost Aegis, which kind of nullifies the roast advantage, but I think what you said earlier today in one of our games is even more true this game. Keeping the Aegis out of the hands of the TA is more important than having it yourself.
Yeah, not only did the Sven pop a BKB charge, that was a 10-second BKB charge.
Oh, it was his first. I thought he had used it the previous fight. No, he hasn't. So yeah, that BKB. That BKB is real. 9 seconds though, so the nice thing is the cooldown will decrease, but obviously everyone agrees you want the long durations for the Magic community, not the ability to spam it.
TA picked up a Mithril Hammer, so most likely looking to finish a BKB.
She could finish it right now, but she obviously wants that buyback.
Buyback's about 1,400 gold right now.
Yeah, because if she dies and she doesn't have buyback, or any of them die and they don't have buyback, anyone in this game right now, and actually we should probably check that status. We do see that the Sven and Rubik are 700 behind, so is the Skywrath. Tidehunter really close, as well as Death Prophet, but everyone else that I did not mention does have a buyback up and off cooldown right now. So mainly the supports and Crane.
Oh, Mjolnir finished. On
Net worth is... TA is just climbing up, and this is what TA does. This is the power of going instead of the blink, you go for that Manta, drums.
I was just about to say this game's stalling for a second, but looks like pings are coming out. They want to push top tower.
They have 3 heroes in position, and
Goofy,
Boopsies.
Goofy
I don't know if they can do anything about this, because Footsie's already here. They want to go ahead and try to trade for this, and honestly, now that Boopsies is here, yeah, he can creep cut. But, like, they don't need more than 1 creep wave. They really don't. Boopsies isn't accomplishing much, and meanwhile, Impulse is going to get gone on top. He tries to go for Crane. BKB is popped. He did pick that up on the courier, so now Crane is going to probably go down. Maybe the BKB is getting low. Fadebolt does finish off the Tidehunter buyback from Crane. Yeah, he's going to stop them from TPing, because what they want to do is rat them to death here, and I don't think that this is an entirely bad decision. Ravage is used, and he should just immediately refresher and get ready to Ravage again, as they do clear up the TA, and now the Ravage comes out around the Rubik. But in the bottom lane, maybe Crane or Goofy is going to live. He's going to kill the Doom. And meanwhile, under the top T2, Viper is going to go down as well. So this should be a 3-for-2 trade. And yeah, that buyback means Goofy should get out of there. He should just throw the use on her and TP immediately, because he can get out if he does that. It's going to be close. He needs to do it. He's just kind of... It looks like he's panicking a little bit. And that's not good for Goofy. If he panics here, he might go down. Or maybe he could just even kill Impulse if he turned it around. But he's just going to go ahead and back up and heal up from that ulti. And with the rotation from Rubik, maybe... No, okay. They're not going to get him. But again, a great series of plays coming out of Jolly Judas. They get a T3. They trade 2 heroes in a buyback for TA, a buyback, Viper, Doom, Rubik, and a Sven. I believe. Sven died. I'm not entirely sure. I kind of missed most of the bottom action. I'm not going to lie. The top action was pretty intense.
I was a little focused on top as well. I don't know if Sven died.
But
I think he did. But
the Doom dying is more important regardless.
Yeah.
As much as Sven is a great carry, we've talked about it earlier today, but he could still get to that point, and they could have a 4-core lineup, which is something that the dire side needs to be thinking about. But at this point, they have enough time to do what they need to do.
I just took a glance at the gold graph. We're 45 minutes into this game.
Oh my god.
And it's dead even.
This is an incredibly even game. I just don't even know what to say. I am legitimately speechless. I'm very excited. Both these teams are pulling out so much for this tournament. And it doesn't have the prize pool anymore, but they're definitely giving it prize-worthy play. Yeah. RaptorZ explaining things well. This game is going on for a while, and my brain is starting to kaput. But dire side, or Jolly Judas, I think when they finish this AC on Death Prophet, that's going to be about it.
Viper's almost on an AC as well, though.
So it will nullify it a decent amount.
Yep. And we've got Sven working on Heaven's... Actually, he just finished his Heaven's Halberd. So,
They can't disarm the Prophet, and he did not go BKB yet, so that is kind of a big deal. And if
Dire's
Prophet
top
tries
tower
to
is being
solo
attacked.
Boopsies here, it could be a big mistake, but
Tower's going to fall to him.
yep. We'll go down to the
Dire's
Templar
top tower has
illusion
fallen.
as she does pop her Manta style, but Goofy is just going to run in and pop the ultimate here. He needs to use a spell before they steal it. Rubik could steal that. He still hasn't used another spell. It looks like he's waiting to throw the Yules, and there he does. The BKB is popped. Crane gets the Ravage onto multiple targets. He's going to refresh. He's going to throw the Ravage again. Trigex is going down, as well as the Doom, but they lose 3 heroes in the process. They did get the range the melee racks for this, so it is a decent trade in that sense. As long as they get out with most of their heroes intact, this was a
They'll lose
decent
everyone.
trade, but they will lose everyone. The buyback status is what's most important right now. Only Death Prophet has a buyback right now. That was a little bit of a throw.
That fight happened so quickly. How did it go so poorly for the Dire side?
The Ravages and all of the Ravages were used during the BKBs, and they never got off a black hole. I think that's honestly it. If the black hole would have came at any point after the first Ravage, there was no one there to stop it. I mean, yeah, Rubik would have stolen it, but he would have gotten follow-up Ravaged anyways. Death Prophet will buy back here, and now this Rax trade is going to be even, and since they took out this top T2, they can now push the top lane as well right after this. However, this backdoor might actually give them enough time to hold this game, or hold this Rax. Maybe not. No, they're just going to actually DPS straight through it, and now they're going to immediately move to top Rax as well. Goofy does want to defend this, but I think he needs to accept that they're going to lose top Rax, or at least lose their T3. They need to defend the Ancient. It's the only thing that matters in defense of the Ancients.
Dire's top tower is Dire's top
Yep,
tower
there goes the
has
Rax as
fallen.
well, and good decision making here not to try
Dire's
to
top
not try
barracks
to
has fallen.
not to try to turn the game
Dire's
right here
top
and win it.
barracks has
Just
been
let this
destroyed.
happen and move on.
There's the AC finished on Viper.
Before the Death
It's actually
Prophet.
ahead, yep.
This game is very interesting. I guess, yeah, I guess we'd have to go back and analyze that fight, but I really just think that the Ravage not hitting TA or Doom was kind of a big, or not Doom, Viper was kind of a big deal.
And of course, we have to point out that Trigex on the Rubik has been on top of his steals. He's been getting Ravage or Black Hole every single fight. I realize a lot of those spells are pretty easy to steal, but he's been always getting them, and he's always been using them properly to counter. their
Long
use.
respawn on Roche too. 2 more minutes on that. But yeah, definitely right about that.
Refresher picked
On
up
Doom.
on Doom.
Double
and also the
Doom.
Yules on Rubik.
This game is getting, honestly, I think it's getting to that point, unfortunately, where I'm going to start having to be biased towards the Radiant, because they just have the 4-core lineup. And if Dire does not do something here, I think they go all in here, personally. But, I mean, you know, you lose there, you lose. But at this point, if they continue to let it go, Sven's going to outcarry them, TA's going to outcarry them, and so is the Viper and Doom.
Maybe you wait for Roche. Maybe. Or is that too late? I don't know.
I don't know either, and with Boobsy's having bots, he's able to just push top right now, and they're not going to be able to stop that push. And he's gonna apply pressure into their base. Looks like a blink in from was a Doom. Didn't actually get off a Doom onto Goofy. Prophet is going to push in middle lane to apply some split pressure. They want to pull their attention to multiple places, and Goofy is going for it. This will be the last fight of the game. Either way it goes, we will have a winner from this. Concussive shot goes out. Goofy will get lifted. He's getting bursted down. He does get his Yules off, and also the BK or the Ravage hits on the Doom, and he gets bursted down. Never actually gets to use any of his refreshers or his Dooms, and now the Black Hole in the background onto Impulse, doing a lot of damage. He's going to drop low. Goofy barely survives, and Impulse is going to go down. He does use his buyback, and Rax didn't fall down during that. But Boopsy's going to fall as well. Crane standing tall with Big Rock. They have maybe the damage, but Goofy runs back in and goes down. And now Prophet's back in here. They have multiple buybacks. I'm not even sure who has buyback left after this. Impulse finishing off the Nature's Prophet. Big Rock's going to want to try to get away, but maybe he can't, as the slow and the stun is there. But holy hell.
Oh my goodness. So just to rewind, we had a buyback from TA, we had a buyback from Sven, we had a buyback from Nature's Prophet, we had a buyback from Rubik, and we had a buyback from Skywrath Mage. Or sorry, the Rubik bought back before. He almost died.
Yeah. That means 2 are left. Enigma and Viper. And Roche is up, and that's good for the Radiant side because they have the TA, which means she can do it by herself. She doesn't need any help, and with all the waves getting pushed in, I think That was one damn good attempt at a push, but with the way it worked out, it's just not
Tower is being
enough.
attacked.
With the Roche control now going to the Radiant side, down 2 racks. I don't know if the Dire has it. I don't know if Jolly Judas has it in them to finish this game off.
They did make one adjustment that they used in that fight, and that was after the first Ravage, Crane popped his refresher, and he pushed past the majority of the fight towards the Rubik, ravaged the Rubik, covered his Ravage, and made sure that Rubik wasn't able to push up or anything, which opened up the ability for Enigma to get a good black hole off.
Yep.
So they made one adjustment there to make sure that Trigex on that Rubik wasn't able to steal those big valuable spells and use them in the fight. But,
I guess if the Dire side wins, if Jolly Judas wins this fight, I think they win the game. Because there's no buyback on TA, but they have to wipe the Radiant team.
absolutely.
This is just
Dire's
high stakes
bottom
Dota.
tower is being attacked.
not really high stakes, but honestly, it's what this game feels like. It feels like the finals for, a big tournament. They're putting so much effort into it, not giving up, and I don't blame them. It's turning out to be such an amazing game to watch.
It's been a long one too. We're 52 minutes in right now.
We still got 2 more after this, guys, so be ready. Be ready. Impulse does pick up a Daedalus now with his TA as well. Very important there.
So we actually have an interesting timing here. We've got Death Prophet's buyback coming off cooldown.
But not nearly enough gold, unfortunately.
Yeah, true.
Tide did get buyback out of this, though. His buyback came off cooldown. So now we have Tide and Enigma, but if they blow their load, buying back is not going to change much. In fact, their entire team is really like that, with the exception of Nature's Prophet. But it looks like they maybe want to go here. Sven is going to pop the work right. Doom goes out off onto Enigma, and that's going to mean no black hole for the rest of this fight. They choose to move out the Enigma into the front, and Doom goes down. Ravage hits on 2. It actually hits on Impulse. He's taking quite a bit of damage from it. He does get the Manta off, and the black hole to follow up gets another 2. The spell steal was already used, so he's not going to be able to actually get that black hole. The question is, can they continue to turn this around? Goofy is getting chased down by Impulse. He throws out the Yules. Impulse does go down. The Aegis is used. Sven is down for 112. They throw out the Sprout onto the TA. She's trapped in it. They have the BKB on her still. And Futzy is barely, or actually does go down from the spell damage, and Impulse taking so much damage, dropped down to 707 HP. The BKB is over. The only thing that is left is Refraction, but now Doom is back, and he TPs in with bots, and he still has doesn't even use or has used the Refresher, does still have Doom, but with the Futzy going down again, and now Indie Bear going to be followed up as well. I think that might be the game, even though that fight was, again, just absolutely incredible coming out of Jolly Judas.
Yeah, Doom actually used his refresher before he died, and then he bought back.
Buyback from Crane. They might try to take this fight again, and they need to. They need to hold here, because if they can kill Impulse, they don't have a buyback. Oh wow, this game continues on, man. This game continues on.
Just when you thought it was over.
Again, just I am at absolute disbelief. The way that they are coordinating their spells is just amazing, and honestly, the fact that I think TA needed to use their BKB to win that outright, because she got double ravaged. And 3 heroes were caught out for over 5 seconds, right? Because 2 ravage is 277, so yeah. 5.4 seconds.
TA actually just picked up a Reaver, dropping her down to 170 gold. With her buyback coming up in a minute and 10 seconds.
If they win a fight...
Interesting.
If they win a fight, man, this would be the hypest game of hype ever. Because... at this point, and again, a little bit, and I'm sorry for being biased, guys, and because the Dire side is our friends, but at this point, the Radiant side it's their game. They have the 4-core, the quad-core, however you want to look at it. It's their game to lose, and if Dire could pull it out in the part of the game where technically they shouldn't be able to win at all, would be absolutely amazing to see.
I think it's quite amazing that they're still in this triple smoke getting purchased by Enigma.
I mean, you need to buy them, right? They haven't been. Although he is actually getting close to a... No, he's not getting too close to a sheep. I guess that's fair. He is a decent ways away. AC now on Goofy. The item progression Radiant, actually, screw the item progression. Radiant is just going to group up and go down bottom. They want to win this game. They want to end this game. They still have 2 more games if they win this after this, and so does Jolly Judas. It's all going to come down to this. It looks like they're going to smoke up, and with Ravage, Refresher, Black Hole, they have everything they need to potentially win this game, and they are going to throw the Eidolons down in the lane to help give vision and potentially push this out so they could see what's coming. And honestly, the Dire side or the Radiant side might not be ready for this. If they can pull off their positioning well enough, I think this fight could go over very well for them. Enigma is going to be in the front. I think that's a little bit of a questionable decision. He's going to get his smoke revealed. Does get the stun off onto the Viper and then is immediately going to run away. They throw down the AoE from the Midnight Pulse. Blinken from Sven's stun is going to hit 2. Goofy is not able to get his ult off. And Doom goes out onto the Tidehunter so they're not, and on the Enigma, so they're not going to be able to get either of their abilities. And Trigex again stole that ultimate. And honestly, with that fight going the way it did, I don't think there's any way that they're going to be able to win this game. Goofy does TP out and get away. But that is going to be GG, and honestly, GG. That was just an amazing game.
Radiant victory.
Oh, wow. Over 9K. Easy.
What an incredible game.
Yeah, no,
I think I don't even know what to say about that game. That was just too good. But
yeah, no, it was
good luck to Gucci, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I believe we will be going into the next game. Is that correct, Niggs? You're still good for another game?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm here to the end.
All right, well, we're here to the end, guys, so we're going to hop right into the next game. It should be happening immediately. Not too much to say. That was an absolutely amazing game. If you enjoyed our casts, please check out Niz at Nizcast for his Twitter, /Nizcast for his Twitch. Of course, for me, if you're on the stream, the follow button's right below you. Please press that. You can check out my YouTube where all the VODs for this tournament will be uploaded at user/DotaRaptors, and then, of course, my Twitter at DotaRaptors. But we will bring you guys the next game as soon as it comes up.